This happened a couple of years ago, right before school ended. It was the last day of 8th grade. Exactly what you'd expect. Excitement, bittersweet goodbyes, and chaos. Everyone was running around, scribbling signatures and cheesy messages in each other's yearbooks. My middle school was massive, over 1,000 students. To keep things somewhat organized, teachers collected our yearbooks and passed them around to different classrooms so everyone could sign. You can probably see the problem already. Anyone could write anything in anyone's yearbook. Teachers tried their best to keep things under control, but a few kids still wrote mean things to people they didn't like. When I got my yearbook back, I flipped through it, smiling at the goofy messages from my friends. But then something strange caught my eye. There was a signature under the face of someone I didn't even recognize. His name was Samuel Robinson III, a name I'll never forget. His message was short, almost playful, but deeply unsettling. "Hags, I'll be seeing you again." I stared at the words, confused. I had never even spoken to this guy before. It wasn't like I could do anything about it. School was over. I just shrugged it off. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe just some weird kid being weird. Later that night, I had a sleepover with my best friends, Kevin, David, and Kieran. We were in my basement playing Call of Duty and eating Doritos, having the time of our lives. Since my parents' bedroom was 3 floors above, we didn't worry much about making noise. Around 2 a.m., we were messing around on my dad's rowing machine when we heard a sharp knock at the storm door. It immediately silenced us. Who would be knocking at the basement door at this hour? Either someone didn't want to wake my parents, or they knew we were down there. The knocking wasn't random. It came in a steady, deliberate pattern. Kieran, being the loudmouth, called out, "Who's there?" I wanted to strangle him. Now they knew for sure we were down there. After a long pause, a muffled voice responded, "Come around to the back door." The voice was high-pitched, cheerful, like a teenager inviting himself to a party. It didn't sound fake or forced. It sounded real. My friends seemed excited, like this was some spooky adventure. They pressured me to check it out. Reluctantly, I crept upstairs with them and slowly approached the back door. Through the narrow glass pane beside it, I saw a shadowy figure standing beneath the porch light. I got closer and his face came into view. My heart nearly stopped. It was him, Samuel Robinson III, the same kid who signed my yearbook. My friends reached for the door, but I stopped them. I told them who he was and what he wrote in my yearbook. Their faces changed immediately. Sam stood there watching us, clearly able to see how freaked out we were. Then he started motioning toward the side of the house, as if asking me to come to the window. It might sound crazy that we weren't more terrified, but remember, he was a kid from our school, not some strange old man. Still, there was no way. I was opening the door. Instead, I cracked open the kitchen window just a bit. My friends stayed behind me, tense. Sam walked over and smiled. "So, you got my message?" He introduced himself like we were old friends, said he had been watching me for a while, that he thought we could have been close. I nodded nervously, just trying not to upset him. Then I asked what I really needed to know. "How do you know where I live?" He didn't answer, just stared at me. Before I could say anything else, David, always the blunt one, called him a creepy stalker and told him to get lost. Sam's entire expression shifted. He tilted his head, confused, then suddenly snapped, his face twisted in rage. He began yelling about how he hated my friends, how we all deserved to die, how my ex didn't even like me. He knew things no one should have known. Then he lunged at the window, trying to force it open. I slammed it shut and locked it. He started banging and snarling like an animal. He looked like he was about to break through the glass. We were frozen, in fear. But the noise must have been too much, because suddenly my parents came rushing down the stairs. That's when Sam took off into the darkness. We told my parents everything. My dad ran outside in his underwear, but Sam was already gone. Strangely, my parents didn't call the police. They said they'd talk to the school in the morning, and that's when we found out the truth. Samuel Robinson III had been expelled weeks before the last day of school. He was never supposed to be there that day, but since the yearbooks were printed before his expulsion, his photo and name were still included. That meant he snuck into the school just to sign my yearbook. It shook me to my core. The school tried to investigate, but no one could find him. His address, his parents, nothing could be verified. It was like he didn't exist. We don't talk about it much anymore. It's just too disturbing. But I still live in that same house, and even now, I sometimes wonder how long he had been watching me.